host of the Gridiron.
Joe Schoen visits Papa Prime in Colorado. There was a little video. It's like about 13 seconds long, showing Prime coming out and shaking hands, with all of them, and they made like small conversation, but it was, as I said, the video was like 13 seconds long, wasn't that? Yeah, man. Now it just kind of makes you kind of wonder, because Coach Prime said behind closed doors, right? That, behind not publicly or nothing like that, that if Hunter or his son was going to get drafted by an organization, a team, whatever, that he didn't want him to go to, he was going to say something about behind closed doors. Now it's kind of interesting because the Giants are about as seemingly right now about as dysfunctional as you could possibly be. I wonder what he was kind of thinking when the Giants kind of came in. He's looking at him like, "Oh man, I hope my son don't go there." What? So got this article here. Sanders to the New York Giants hype is in overdrive after Joe Schoen was seen at the Colorado practice. A viral video of the Giants GM Joe Schoen and other Giants decision makers at Colorado football practice on Tuesday has both proponents and opponents of Colorado's Shedeur Sanders being the Giants' next quarterback taking the social media to offer their opinion. So there's a bunch of people responding to that. But so we got Brandon Brown. Oh, Jessie Armstead was there. Brandon Brown, Joe Schoen, special assistant to the GM is Jessie Armstead, and director of player personnel Tim McDonnell. It wasn't Merrick, Tim McDonnell. Talking to Colorado Coach Prime. Sanders, of course, is Shedeur's father. Sanders is considered by many to be the top quarterback in the draft. Excuse me. By many. Not PFF. All right. I'm going to go over that in a couple minutes here. But the 2-9 Giants, who have a chance to end up with the number 1 overall pick, need a new franchise quarterback after finally parting ways with Daniel Jones. Sanders is immensely talented, but does not come without warnings. The first is that he is Deion's son. Deion Sanders has made it clear that he will not hesitate to pull strings to make certain Shedeur does not land with a team the elder Sanders does not approve of. Sanders, perhaps partially because he is coached by his father at the collegiate level, has been said to be entitled. He pushed an official from behind during the Buffalo's loss to Kansas on Saturday. Earlier this year, he left the sideline early during a loss to Nebraska and was then critical of his offensive line in the aftermath. There's a video here says showing Sanders exiting the field with 2 minutes left to go in the game. They're down by, they're losing to Nebraska 28-10, 2 minutes to go, and Sanders is just walking off the field. Schoen, if he remains the Giants GM, and the rest of the organization will have to decide if they are comfortable with all of the things that would come with Shedeur if they were to draft him. Schoen and coach Brian Daboll have not shied away from big personalities. Edge defender Kayvon Thibodeau, Schoen's first 2022 pick, is a player some shied away from. Wide receiver Malik Neighbors, drafted number 6, is another who's penchant for demanding the ball and expressing displeasure when he doesn't get it. Well, hey, that's what you want, man. That's what you draft the guys for, right? Guy, give me the frickin' ball, right? Let's see. Which we have seen over the past few days was well known before the draft. Shedeur Sanders would be the biggest risk of them all. Here's what some were saying about Sanders after the videos. There's a bunch of people talking about, I could care less about what these people got to say about Shedeur Sanders. Now, one of them, though, okay, I want to go is Todd McShay. Todd McShay, he was, he was spot on, might I add. When after the draft of Daniel Jones, he basically what he said. If you go back and listen to what Todd McShay said about Daniel Jones, he was like almost spot on. Now, does that mean that Todd McShay is the football guru and what he says is gospel and he's never wrong? Of course not. Come on, man. But he was right on with Daniel Jones. Now there's a little video here. I don't know who it is, but somebody's talking to McShay and asking about Shedeur Sanders. And what he said was there was 4 guys. McShay said that he's like, Sanders is not Patrick Mahomes. Sanders is not Lamar Jackson. Sanders is not Josh Allen. Sanders is not Matthew Stafford. And then the other guy said, what about Burrow? And McShay thought for a second. He said, his absolute ceiling might be a Burrow. He said, McShay said, I see a right, because Tua is left-handed. I see a right-handed Tua and a Geno Smith, right? So he said, like, he's like, you take like Geno Smith's best few years and you take what Tua does and all of that. And, if you, to be honest, in the scheme of things, right? If that's, if he can be almost as good as a Burrow or as good as maybe a Burrow, right? But I'm saying maybe you take the best couple of years of Geno, like what Geno did last season and all, right? And maybe Tua, right? In the scheme of things, that's a pretty good NFL career. Is he going to be considered the GOAT of all? No, right? But some people seem to think that, like, man, if I'm not listed as the GOAT, I had a horrible career. No. But so it's not like we're drafting the John Elway, right? Andrew Luck, right? Peyton Manning, there's none of those guys here, right? So you're taking a chance. Now the thing is also, if Shedeur is anything like it seems like he's like his father. His father was just, it was, when he was a player, you couldn't tell him anything. He knew everything. He couldn't take criticism. He couldn't take nothing. It was, I'm prime. Who I am? I'm prime. Deion would, if they were in a Super Bowl, just to go to show you, the way he thought, right? And whatever team Deion was on, they were on defense. Deion was playing defense. The other team was driving. Less than a minute to go in the game. The other team was down by 4 points. So they're getting inside the red zone or wherever like that. They're driving. The clock is ticking away and all that stuff. So the quarterback drops back to pass. They're down by 4, under a minute to go or something like that. And Deion's team is up by 4, right? Just, intercept the pass, take a knee, run out of bounds, whatever. The game's over. Now, see, what Deion would do, because once again, it's what? It's all about him. Right, because everybody's looking at me. I am the greatest. Everyone wants to be me. Everybody's looking at me. It's all about me. So what would happen was, this is just the way he is. And one of the things I couldn't stand about him, when he came out. He's just so arrogant and cocky and all that. What that jackwagon would do would be like, I said, in the Super Bowl, the other team throws an intercepted pass. Guy jumps up, boom, intercepts it, say around the 5-yard line. Instead of taking a knee, right? And as soon as that knee hits the ground, boom, Super Bowl. All your team has got to do is come out there and take it. And quarterback's got to take victory formation, take a knee. The clock runs out. No. Prime, right? Prime would be like, yo, throw the ball to me. He would want the guy to intercept, get the ball. Instead of taking a knee and taking the victory, no, Prime, like, give me the ball, man. I want to score. Like being a idiot, right? He wants somebody to flip the ball to him so he could take it, so he can start dancing around and run for a touchdown or something like that. Guess what? Because it's all about him. You know what I mean? So if Shedeur is like his father, who is I mean, he seems like he's a very good coach, and he can get through people's college kids' heads and all that stuff and everything, which is great. But when you couldn't tell him nothing in the pros, and if Shedeur is like that, that could be a problem. That could be a problem. And also, I mean, this is New York. Things ain't going well. It can get really ugly really quick. I said, you got to look, because you look at Eli Manning, his demeanor, right? You look at even Daniel Jones, right? I mean, how many bad things went his way? He always the same kind of demeanor, took the bad questions, all that stuff he took. He was able to take it. He didn't produce that well, or as well as we were hoping he would and all that, but he was able to take it. Eli could take it, right? Yeah, things start going bad. You got to be able to take it. And if you can't, this place will just eat you up. So, so it's one thing, maybe drafting a Kayvon or drafting a Malik or something like that. But when you're drafting a quarterback, and he's like his father, it's a big city and things go bad and all of that. So you got to be careful about that. Really, really got to be careful. Because because Deion was just a total genius. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't tell him nothing. Couldn't tell him anything. It was all about him. All about, give me the ball. Let me score. Guess what? It's all about me. I'm the greatest. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was no team player. It was all about prime time. That's all it was about. I mean, of course, the people wanted to see that. Of course, I get it. But he was not a team player. I didn't like him at all. But so you got to be careful with Shedeur. Very, very careful. But the Giants were out there, as I said. So Tom McShay said that he can certainly be a good quarterback. Yeah, but don't expect him to come in here and be the next coming of Patrick Mahomes. Not happening. He's got some issues to him. Now they got here on PFF. So I don't know. I mean, have you seen Alabama game against Oklahoma? Jalen Milroe did not look too good, okay? And somehow they still got him. He's the top-ranked quarterback. But I think he's rated like number 12 overall. Oh, okay. I had the quarterback. Hold on. Let's see. Quarterback. Jalen Milroe he's the big board ranked number 12. So they got 11 players in college football ranked higher than Jalen Milroe, although he is PFF's top-rated quarterback, PFF, college quarterback coming out of the draft. So he's number 12. And then he got Cameron Ward is number 14. The big board, Shedeur Sanders is number 21. So according to PFF, that's all I'm going by, they got 20 guys that are ranked higher than Shedeur Sanders. Now, what they have for him, everybody's got strengths and weaknesses, right? His strengths, he's strong, wide base with good size in the lower half to generate throwing power from his legs. Repeatable, fundamentally sound throwing motion. High release point helps make up for smaller height. Good zip on passes within 25 yards. He doesn't have a cannon, right? Mental and physical toughness to step up and take a hit while delivering a throw. Good field anticipation for attacking a zone. Slippery in the backfield despite lacking of mobility. He's not the most, mobile quarterback, I guess, in the world. Not afraid to look backside of the formation on scrambles. Now, his weaknesses. Ball speed can die on him in the air beyond 40 yards. So he does not have that cannon. Release speed is average to below average. which is not good, right? Arm strength is average for NFL standards. Doesn't always finish throwing motion across his body, okay? Below average mobility, which gives a high sack rate, okay? So, which would not correspond well with the Giants' pass protection, right? Then the next highest quarterback they got is Nussmeier from LSU. He's big board rank. He's the 66th highest rated guy. Then they got the Penn State quarterback. He's number 77. So they got PFF once again. They got 3 quarterbacks listed in the top, the first round. They got 3, have first round grades, but they got Milrose number 1, Waters number 2, and Sanders is number 3 now. Obviously, that's what they're looking at. What Brian Dable's looking at is quite possibly something else. Now, you did hear a lot of bad things came from Hard Knocks. A lot of bad things, right? A lot of, But one of the things, one of the things that obviously that hurt Daniel Jones's feeling is that they were talking about trading up to grab themselves a quarterback. Daniel Jones was not very happy with that. Well, Daniel Jones had an opportunity to go out and prove, oh, yeah, why did you have the quarterback? Okay, all right. I guess I'm going to do something about it, right? No, he didn't do something about it. But, oops, sorry, buddy. Sorry, pal. Got my buddy laying at my feet. But you did hear Dable. Shane was asking Dable, would you want to trade up for Daniels? And Dave was like, yeah. So, right? So Daniels looks like, pretty darn good quarterback. Looks like the Commanders got themselves a quarterback in the future, right? So, Dave knows the quarterbacks, and once again, he was given Daniel Jones, right? Things just didn't work out. They were not able to trade up, right, to get maybe the guy they want. I don't want to know if they wanted Caleb Williams. I don't know. They seemed that they did want Daniel, though, right? But Nix is doing pretty good. But not to wait and see. But kind of interesting to see that, during the middle of the week, practice, not during the game, practice, Jessie Armstead was there. Brandon Brown was there. Joe Schoen was there. So they're keeping an eye on them. They're in the hunt for a quarterback. So, be interesting to see, obviously as they're following, where they go. Do they go to visit the U, right? Where Ward's at? Do they go to visit Alabama? Now, the one thing is, right, and Saban would know, right? Because Dabes and Saban are, pretty close, right? He picked the phone. He picked the phone up, Dable. He picked the phone up and he talked to Coach Saban. He said, do you have anything on any of these players? And Saban, I forget exactly how it went, but he asked me before the draft, and he said there was 2 guys that were pain in the ass, right? Pain, right? One was Malik Neighbors, and the other one was Brock Bowers. With Brock Bowers? Bowers. Well, the tight end, right? Said those guys were pains, right? So, and he was right on both occasions. Now he knows Milroe, because obviously Saban was there last year, and so was Milroe. So maybe he picks the phone up and talks to Coach Saban, right? We'll have to wait and see. But once again, it's 6 games to go, and it winds up being, there's so many teams with 2 and 3 wins. The Giants, if somehow they win a couple games, they're going to go from picks number 2 or 3, and they're going to be whatever, 10, 11 or something like that. And they might just play themselves out of the quarterback position. But we'll have to wait and see.